Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings in the YouTube Atheist Community and Stickam Fun. Yeah, not much else to say, right? Same old, I guess is the title, right? Or something like that. Crap. It really wasn't a bad night. Yeah, it really wasn't. You know, Karina was in the room for a while, but she had a headache and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, it was just rolling along kind of stuff, but it's just the same old stuff. I mean, now it's just like trolls just troll you with crap like, why do you want to kill everybody on Earth? After you kill everybody, then what? Animal print. It's a damn big raccoon. It's a raccoon. I don't know, anyway. I mean, it's just, as I said anyway again, damn it. You know, then Piro later, and we discussed the server thing. But it just gets so discouraging because people's dialogue is just so horrid. You know, this dialogue thing, this argument thing, this debate thing, really got to be structured. It's, you know, people just don't even come close. And to keep making arguments have been answered so many times, there's just no way people could not be seeing this stuff. They just keep arguing this. What about the animal? There's a big poo in my path. Yeah, I'm walking towards those. See, it's print and it's poo, and now I'll walk right into its mouth. Anyway. Fuck. Regardless. Moving on. So, is there anything else to say about Stickam? Yeah, it's just alright. You know. I mean, I kind of want it to be a little more productive, I guess, somehow, but you know, that's just kind of wishful thinking. Yeah, yeah, some sort of better level of argumentation. I guess some of it wasn't bad. I mean, people play devil's advocate and they, you know, push the argument and why this and why that, and so I guess some of that's useful. I don't know. Well, whatever. Maybe I'm just grumping. Yeah, that's how it started off. The evening started off. People were critiquing Stickam. Oh, the first hour usually kind of sucks. That kind of stuff. I'm just sick of naysayers and nitpickers and whiners and complainers. And that's where I get called, because I talk about the most important subject in the universe. Hey, look at that. Somebody ate a cicada on the tree here. I haven't seen any this year, cicadas. Not meant. Next year is the big year. So maybe the year before the big year is a little year. Or maybe there's been so much rain that they all drowned. Or maybe my shoe is untied, which is probably a risk liability, and here I am ignoring it. Well, I guess it's because only I am likely to get damaged by my untied shoelace. So it's a reasonable risk. Yeah, unlike having children, which is an unreasonable risk. Quite obviously. Ow. So there was, like I said, there's been a few videos. I just finished an hour video responding to some guy. And, you know, there's no counter argument. It's just the standard counter argument is, but we kind of think life is cool, man. Why don't you just chill? It's like, oh, God. You account for nothing. They just basically are saying, yeah, well, whatever nature does is cool, man. It's alright. Just, you know, eat a hamburger. Hey, there's a deer. I don't think it ate the cicada, though. It eats everything else. Where was I? Yeah, so it's really it's just disappointing because there isn't much to argue with here. There's just accusations, personal attacks. I mean, Chabich made some kind of idiotic video, you know, accusing me of being a landowner and all this other stuff, called me a hypocrite, and it's like he doesn't, you know, he can't get a single fact right. You're just like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, these people are so desperate for some sort of I got you moment. You know, they so desperately need to I got you me. Ugh. Yeah, it's just, yeah, kill the messenger, attack the messenger, get the messenger. They can't deal with the message, so they gotta go after me. Just such a waste of goddamn time. I wonder if those were wild strawberries. Probably should pick them if they are. Oh no, no, they're those fake ones. They disguise themselves as strawberries. They're actually some sort of puffy poison berry or something. But anyway, they look really good. But it's all looks and no substance. Alright. So yeah, it's just this general problem that's, so existed from the very start of all philosophical conversation, is to get there to be a common adding up of premises, or establishing where we agree and disagree, and arguing those things rather than, finding the lowest foundational disagreement, because that's where it all comes down to. There's no point in arguing the shit out here in my hand when it's the stuff really close to the origin, really close to the beginning, is where the fundamental disagreements lie. And point is people want to believe there's function in life because they're a living thing. It's their baby, so to speak. Life is their baby, and so they're going to defend it from people saying your baby is butt ugly, it doesn't have any talent and is smelly and such. They just don't want to deal with that truth. Pretty much. I need to tie the old shoe here. The old shoe. Not that old, actually, as shoes go. Probably is vintage shoeery. Whoa. Yeah, whoa. Whoa, got a little wobbly. Anyway. Yeah, that's really healthy. Shit, I said anyway again too. Fuck. Day isn't going very well yet. Sort of a lovely day though, which is nice. We haven't had lovely weather in a while. Probably rain later, but for now, it's all wind. That's not much of a subject though. Moth. Not much of a subject there either. Alright, I'll come up with something. Yeah, general futility of arguing with people. Fighting. I guess I'll bring up the Laura Layla thing. There was an exchange of videos on the subject of the right to die primarily, but it was blended with antinatalism. So a lot of the same old crap came up. Well, if you want to kill yourself, why don't you just get to it already? Do it sloppy, back alley, kill yourself. It's really not like an abortion, you know what I mean? I don't have to kill myself today, right? Because I'm going to have a baby in 3 weeks. So it's not, it's like abortion where it's a time frame. You only have a small window, so you have to act, So you got to go to wherever you have to go to get your abortion. But killing yourself, for people who are doing it because of general life failure, they don't have urgency. It's not like they're terminally ill. Their life is terminally useless and pointless and unsatisfactory. So it's not as urgent. But yeah, if I get diagnosed with a disease of substantial scariness, yeah, I'll back alley abortion myself. But again, the argument is so obvious that the point is that shouldn't be my obligation. The argument is I have a right to die. This is just bullshit. It's probably the most fundamental right a person has, is to raise their hand and say, fuck you. This is bullshit. Shove it up your ass. their non-participation is not something you can claim ownership of. And as soon as you do claim ownership, then you're just creating slaves to your system. And to say, well, I give the slaves their freedom if you know, they fill out this contract and they establish that they have enough money in the bank, and they you know, you start establishing all these conditions with which you will allow the slave to go free. And there's 500 layers and 2 tons of bullshit in there. So yeah, I resent your claims of advocacy. I resent the whole thing because it's made out of shit. You're not getting the principle. And I have a right to find it offensive, I think. Really offensive. Really, really, really offensive. You got no evidence of the reasonable position being life affirmation. There's nothing to prove or demonstrate that. Absolutely nothing. And all the evidence does seem reasonably and rationally to be falling in the other direction. The smarter you are, the more likely you are to be a bit melancholy about your circumstance. And it's just idiotic to presume that the amount of suffering versus pleasure just happens by happenstance and luck to be the right mix, the right balance. There's just enough goodness to make up for all that horrible badness. You know, you're just making it up. You're just making up your numbers. You're making up that opinion. And it's perfectly reasonable for somebody in the face of the truth, DNA molecule replicating itself, 4 billion years of carnage elution. Carnage elution. I need some kind of word like that. You know, to conclude that, fuck this, it's stupid. Only a moron would play a game this layered in senseless injustice, unfairness, and preposterously nonsensical risk. Only an asshole would pay the price of admission to this game on purpose. I mean, the only way a smart person gets here is some asshole has to force him here. Period. Because there's no rational logic to it at all. So the default position is one that you have to defend. The aggressive, play the game and shut up position is the bullshit position, in my opinion. The position that needs justification. And certainly when those life livers start claiming they have a right to reproduce on other people's existence, quite obviously, yeah, fuck you. I'm not your bed. You know, I'm not your... I won't go to any more disgusting metaphors, but yeah, I'm not. Fuck you. You gotta have a lot more evidence that you know what the fuck you're doing and that you can control this motherfucker. And you don't have anything. Skyzer made a really dumb video. I don't think I'll have time to play it, but just really, really dumb. And in the end of the video, he basically claims ownership of his DNA and the right to impose life on whoever, whenever he chooses, as if having a capacity to do something gives people the right. And it's just such a, that's just, that argument could be used by every big man to impose their will on any little man. That's a bullshit argument. You still are obligated when you're affecting someone else to come up with a justification. Quite obviously, your birthing practice does not just affect you and your girlfriend. It affects the child. And we as a society have a right to interfere then, because that party is a third party to your behavior, and rationality says those parties earn protection from your will. If your will is not considerate of their interest. You're just not allowed to be a reckless asshole. And if all you're doing is creating kids recklessly, society has a right to say, fuck you, asshole. So, yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be on different sides of the Mason-Dixon line when the revolution starts. If he's on my side, I'm killing him anyway. It'll be a little bit of friendly fire. The first enemy I'll take out are assholes like him. It's just so fucking obnoxious. He claims a right because he has a penis and sperm. That's what qualifies him. Yeah, sorry. You gotta do a lot better than that, fuckwit. A lot better. What else? Well, I mean, the foolish production guys, I shouldn't do a response, but My Misery Me guy, Jay Sounder, he did an hour-long video, and he pretty much answered a lot of it, I guess. I guess in a way he didn't respond to the fact that foolish production was totally outrageous. You know, and his accusation that there was something less than a direct answer in my response. I mean, he really thinks that accepting back alley suicide is good enough. He thinks a civilized person who has no immediate need to kill themselves but generally thinks they'd rather be dead should accept doing it a sloppy way instead of the right way. That somehow they should just innately recognize their second-class citizenship and accept it. And they shouldn't fight for better than that. I mean, it's the most illogical nonsense. If he gave a shit about some cause, he wouldn't just sit back and say, well, I'd like things to be better, but I'm not going to fight for it, and I'm not even going to talk about it. I mean, it's a ludicrous, idiotic expectation that I somehow would not find it grotesquely offensive to be told I'm not entitled to respect because my beliefs aren't consistent with your dogmatic religious, pseudo-religious babble about a purposeful existence. Just terrible nonsense. And then he counter-argues later that somehow everybody will kill themselves if we make it easier. So one minute he says it doesn't make a difference if it's more graceful to choose to die, if it's made painless. You know, somehow that doesn't matter. And the next minute he argues that if you make it painless, everybody will do it. I mean, it's that kind of... I mean, what you're almost like, why even bother arguing with people who can't even get through 3 minutes or 4 minutes of their video without directly contradicting themselves. And I mean flatly and plainly and directly impugning the veracity of their own argument. It's just, fuck. And then they'll accuse you of doing it, which is even more ironic. So, yeah, we're a long way from Tipperary, so to speak, from a place where we can, you know, have a rational conversation with human beings, because they keep cheating the argument, and you know, that ain't a playable game no more. Somebody's gonna have to cut that. Bit of a field. Yeah, it's too wet. Wet, see here? Wet. Squish, squish. Oh, enough of a video. Yeah, sorry, just kind of, you know, it's always this reassessment thing takes place every few hours, a few days, few weeks, you know, and you remeasure and recalculate and try to figure out if you're going anywhere. My ear just clogged for no good reason. At least I claim it has no good reason. So that'll be it and such. Thank you very much.